Okay, ready?
Just laying on top of each other. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. You know how we do. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. And we're back! Yeah. This is what, episode 6 or 5? I don't even know who's counting anymore. There's
Like
just so
5 or
flippin'
6,
many.
yeah.
This is episode 5 or 6, everybody. Welcome back to the Amanda Berger School of Awesome. Would you like to introduce yourself, ma'am?
Sure. I'm Dr. Jones.
That's my friend Dr. Jones, and this is Professor Berger. I mean, also it's sad too, because I used to want to actually be a professor, but I don't want to do that anymore.
I feel like you were mumbling about the house before we started, like, oh, it's just sad.
It's just sad. Well, because hey, not to immediately introduce the topic of the day, also Chewini check. Check out these Chewinis that are hugging right here. Bam. But, yeah, so today we're going to be talking about inspiration. And what drives inspiration for us. I feel like we're some guys that we pull a lot of inspiration from a lot of the mundane, which is very special as well.
Love to be inspired. I seek out inspiration. I'm like, can this moment inspire me right now?
I take inspiration from anything.
Same. Literally.
I have
anything.
that written down.
I think it's in our notes, the childlike whimsy.
Or it's like, I could take inspiration from anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but before we get into that.
Yes.
We do a little quick updates.
Well, you folks know how we are doing this now.
Our loyal listeners.
Yes, exactly.
The students of the Amanda Berger School of Awesome.
Yeah, somebody commented on our last episode and they were like, I can't tell if this is satire or if you guys are for real, but I like it. I was like, me neither, and I agree with you.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have an answer for that.
I don't even know what the hell's going on.
What's
but
real or anything.
What the hell does that even mean?
Did you see the video Chet Hanks posted today? He was like, who are you? Who am I? Are you your car? Are you your money? Are you your body? Are you your mind? Like, you would hella fuck with it. I'll send it to you.
I haven't seen it.
Hit the Chet Hanks TikTok before TikTok's gone, y'all.
Oh. Well, his house just burned down too, so he's probably
the entity known as Chet Hanks. He was saying we're actually all the entity, but we just identify, like we have a sub-identity basically. Like he's the entity Chet Hanks. Like I'd be the entity Megan Jones. Like
okay. I thought he was
Berger.
On some like I am a mirror shit, you know?
He was on some like I am you, you are me, and we are we.
Yeah! and we are we.
That's
fire.
Quick.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Oh, fuck yeah.
On our hippie shit for real.
Yeah.
While talking about TikTok though, while we're in our update section, have you heard about Red Note?
Yeah.
The little red book is actually what it's supposed to translate to. I don't know. I've been watching videos on Twitter of it all day. Shit's funny to me.
I spent about 30 minutes today on TikTok with a smile on my face. Every time I get to sit down and look at my phone, I'm all and so I was looking at TikTok and everyone was I
forgot it's also on TikTok that people are talking about it. I saw it on Twitter.
I'm not a Twitter guy. I never have been. I respect that about you and can't be a Twitter guy myself, but yeah, on TikTok, everyone was being like, oh, like, Red Note. And I was like, I don't like that name either. I don't like Red Note. I don't know. Come on. I also don't like TikTok. I'm like, why? Well, let's get a little bit more creative with the names of these platforms, I guess. Like,
it's also called, it's technically called, Xing Shu. Like, that's the Chinese name. And the translation is supposed to be, Little Red Book. And then American.
I like Little Red Book more than Red Note.
It's got a whole historical propaganda situation happening. So it's like the communist Chinese Little Red Book.
Please. Yeah.
But
okay.
that shit's always funny. I enjoy when you try to snuff Americans down. The one thing about the American spirit is we'll find a way.
Yeah.
They're like, you guys can have TikTok. And they were like, we're going to get more Chinese with it.
We gonna get more Chinese with it.
And I appreciate that.
I can appreciate that as well. And it's funny, too, because, I keep seeing a bunch of discourse online, too. It's not funny, Jesus. But, how it's just, how fascist this, America literally has gotten. Especially because TikTok is getting taken away, especially because they're, it's making people anti-American.
They were saying, too, a lot of the, pro-Palestinian, anti-Israeli stuff is on TikTok, and that's a big move, too. And it's they're literally trying to...
It's on every platform.
Yeah, it's just that, when it's an American company, the government can pressure them and stuff, or they already are, got money situations going. But It's, I mean, I'm always cool with them taking away social media apps because I want to get the fuck off my phone.
Deadass.
So I'm like, I'm probably not going to jump to another platform. I'll just let it go quietly.
Stare at the wall. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
I've been taking time to stare at the wall lately, actually.
I stare at the wall all the time.
I have never in my entire life really done that. I remember my old roommate, Sophia. Hi, Sophia. I'd walk in on her and she'd be eating like a meal by herself in silence, like just eating a meal, not looking at anything. I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, sorry to intrude on, like, I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
I like to stare at the ceiling.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah, I put on the weird lights in my room. And then I just... That's inspirational. Just like think about nothing. Inspirational.
Yeah, lighting is inspirational.
Lighting is super inspirational. Getting your bedroom super cozy.
Hey, I know all about that.
I know
too.
You inspired me. I saw your bedroom and I was like, I gotta step this shit up.
Chris Angel wall.
Chris Angel wall.
Yeah.
What other updates do we have? We got another matching tattoo.
We got another matching tattoo.
I'm like, mine's still in the second skin, but it looks nice.
I have mine in second skin right now too as well. It's right here.
Yeah, mine and your tattoo says the straight line is godless and immoral.
I'll say that one more time for you folks. The straight line is godless. God, that's hurting my voice doing. I just screamed at some fucking man downstairs a little bit ago, so now my voice is all raspy. But the straight line is godless and immoral.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot.
Sit and think about that a little bit.
Yeah, we got that with Mila. And right here. I did it right here.
It was dank. It was so comfortable.
Very dank and comfortable. Turning this into a tattoo studio soon, which is nice.
Yeah, turn the fuck up.
Turn the podcast stew into the tattoo stew is what I've always said.
That's what I've always said.
That's what you've always said.
That's my favorite saying.
Yeah.
The semester starts next week. How do you feel about that? We both graduate this semester.
I'm excited. I'm excited for the semester. I've had the best winter break of my entire actual life. This is like my favorite. I'm having the best time in life right now ever. I'm like, I could cry. More on that later. No, just kidding. But I'm just so happy. I feel so happy and I feel so good and life is so awesome. And this break was so awesome, so cool. So filled with fun and love and happiness, and it was just lovely and amazing. Really excited though. I'm going to be taking 6 classes next semester, so fuck my Chungus life. And then so I'm going to go to Lightning in a Bottle. Then I'm going to graduate, and then I'm going to go to EDC, and then I'm going to go on a road trip. So I'm like, May's going to be a great month for the Berger.
You're booked and busy, baby.
Booked and busy, baby.
I'll take a stop on the Amanda Berger World Tour, of course.
Of course you will. You're going to
stops.
meet my blue-haired ass in Portland, Oregon.
I'll meet you wherever you ask me to, my dear friend.
You guys hear that?
My winter break was super restful, which actually I needed because there are parts of my life that were making me not well, and it was kind of nice to reset and be like, oh, I can be a normally.
I feel like you spent time on making your life really beautiful as well over this break.
Yeah, I did. I like made my room
aesthetically
super cozy and nice to be in, and like I enjoy being in there. I also have my spare room we've been turning into a stew. I like got fun decorations for it. We need to set that up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just feel like I've been cultivating my space, which has been really nice. And also I talked to our therapist about it and was like, sometimes I feel weird that I'm just like chilling, and she's like, that's actually a good sign that you've like slowed down. So I'm appreciating the slowdown.
I love it.
Yeah, but I'm excited for the semester. I only have 1 class plus my comprehensive exam class, which is just meetings with my professors twice a month or something.
So chill.
Ridiculous. So yeah, I'm excited. But in the comments, hit the comments right now. Should I go to school again?
Oh, yeah.
Do I go to school again? I'm like either a master's in public administration.
I'm going for that, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Or there's an educational doctorate where you could use that to become a professor eventually or something.
Which is cool and awesome, but...
Master's in public administration. I almost applied today. I was just like, whatever. They're due by March 10th, so...
You got time.
Yeah, I'll apply. I could easily write a personal statement to get into that program. No problem at all.
Administration. I like that.
Yeah, it's all like nonprofit government stuff. Not that I want to do that, but it would be nice to know some inner working stuff about policy and stuff.
I like that.
Yeah. So, and I also think my program is just like, I was saying this to my boss, where I was like, my program is just like super intrigued by me. And so when I want to like do stuff, I'm like, can I do this? And they're just like,
you can do anything.
Yeah. They're like, I want to see what you have to say. So school's really fun for me because I just let me do whatever I want. So I'm excited about that.
School was really fun for me.
Until that man told you to shut the fuck up.
Until that man told me to shut the fuck up, and then it's still recording, yeah?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Until that man told me to shut the fuck up, and just like honestly, that really fucking ruined a lot of my experience. I'm not even gonna lie.
Not like inspiring.
Having a man. I mean, it's funny because I'm sure I could hopefully learn to reframe this and make that inspiring.
I'm sure you could.
But. Yeah, dude, I'm not even gonna lie, that kind of pissed me off. It made me not inspired to, like, go to be in that environment. Like, it inspired me to keep being myself or whatever, but, like, I don't feel inspired to put my word into an academic setting around that guy, specifically.
Yeah. Do you have another class with him?
No.
Oh, thank God.
Heck no.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully your classes are much more inspiring. I think the only other thing that, and we can use this transition into inspiring because it's been inspiring me lately, is I've been super tapped into the LA Fire Mutual Aid Network. And so that has been really cool. I'm more Long Beach focused, but I do have ties to the LA community tiny bit. And so it's been really cool to just see what everybody's doing and like work with folks and like build a big network. And sort of, I've seen some videos today about activists like at like town halls and stuff talking about this opportunity to like rebuild LA and to like the best LA possible, and that's like built on people, not profits. And so yeah, that has been inspiring me.
Seeing the organizational like level, the organization of everything is very inspiring. It's
really interesting to be even deeper in, like, because now I am in like a LA network and then a Long Beach network, and then some folks pull me out into like an even smaller subsect of people. So I'm like in this like more concentrated area of organizing that's like really particular, and it's just really cool to see people who have like years of experience organizing, because I don't have as much experience. Just like the way they've also been really talking about slowing down. That's all we talked about today, was like, hey, whoa, we went too fast for a second, everybody take a breath, everybody slow down, and we're in this for the long haul. And so that was really cool. We were all like, actually, yeah, I feel rushed, like I feel weird. And so yeah, it's really cool to see people lead with care. They said this beautiful statement today called moving at the pace of trust, because some of us are new to each other and we're like intermingling with each other, and instead of moving really fast, like build the trust and safety foundationally with everyone who's working towards this goal first, and then start trying to do real organizing work and like real community aid. And I was like, that is so beautiful and cool. So on that note, shout out to all the LA Mutual Aid organizers and Long Beach Mutual Aid organizers. Super, super cool work going on. And very inspirational, which is the topic of today. So Amanda Berger, what is inspiration?
Inspiration is, this is gonna sound so fried. Inspiration is what sparks you, bro. Literally everything. What is inspiration? Yeah, everything. I'm also a guy who's very, I wouldn't say easily impressed, but easily inspired by things. And I'm also somebody who, on some Chet Hanks BS, I see myself in everybody. At least I try to.
You're always about that mirror.
I love the mirror reference. Always have. I am a mirror.
It'd be challenging me sometimes because I'd be finding people annoying, and then you're always like, when I find someone annoying, I think it's a mirror to like what irritates me about myself, and then I like look at that person like, I have to think more critically about this instead of being a hater.
That's what pisses me off when I don't like people. Like when I really don't like somebody, I'm like, ugh. Like, why? Fuck! Like, I wish I could like you. Yeah. But, you know. So I mean, I'm not gonna like everybody, but whatever. That's a whole other thing. But, you know.
So inspiration to you is a little spark. It's a little spark.
It's a little spark
It's a little
of
spark.
something that's gonna ignite me to. I'm an artist, so I'm like, I just kind of, that's immediately where my head goes, especially with like inspiration. And I've been messing around with like musical stuff a bit more too. So obviously music, so inspired, but so when I kind of think of inspiration, also fashion though, my head, when I am looking at things, I'm always thinking about what can I put in my artwork? How can I change my artwork? Especially like when looking around in the world, okay? When gathering information, fashion, artwork, music, that is what I'm looking to be inspired. Those are the parts of me that I'm looking for inspiration with. What's going on? Multiple other things, I'm sure, as well, but just immediately off top,
Yeah. I feel like it's different for me. It doesn't feel as tangible. Because I feel like I create some things, but like my first instinct isn't creativity in the same like tangible sense. And so I feel like I get inspired about something I want to learn more about. Like when someone says something and I'm like, I've never heard of that in my life. Like I feel so inspired. I'm like, I got to know everything about this now. Or like I feel inspired at people who feel really like, I don't know, really convicted in their ways, and they're like ways I value. Like I really like that. Or someone who's like very themselves, I feel like is really inspiring.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think we could have a whole little section on when people are just rocking themselves, bruh. I'm always gonna be inspired because I'm like, damn, you're weird as fuck.
I love that shit.
And I love that shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I'm like, I like to get inspired stylistically too. Like, cause like home decor vibes or like fashion for sure.
That's going to be another interesting, cool thing with TikTok, getting out of our goddamn faces. Like to see what's going to happen culturally with fashion. And micro trends and stuff.
Something will come replace it, I'm sure.
Surely, but I wonder at what pace.
Yeah.
It's gonna hit the mainstream.
Yeah. That's another thing too with the LA fires. I noticed like the clothing thing is like there's so many mountains of clothes, which I think almost is saying something about the way in which people consume clothing. Like that there's mountains of, like that's the most material item people are ready and willing to give up and have so much of, like just says something about the way people consume clothing in particular. And like the way it's like really disposable. Like they're not consuming clothing that they like love and want to keep long term. It's like clothing that comes and goes, like micro trends, right? Where it's like, I had this phase, now it's gone, instead of like shopping for forever pieces. Because I feel like that's how we consume clothing, is like I want to wear it forever, and it's like stylistically aligned with who I am and not stylistically aligned with a micro trend. Yeah. Maybe sometimes those things can overlap, but
fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, let's see. When do you feel the most inspired?
Oh, okay. Well, right now in my life, this is the most inspired I've ever felt these last few months, especially when finals were going on. The only thing I wanted to do was sit and paint, which was lame because I couldn't. But I feel so inspired and clear-headed right now. Sorry, being sober.
I've never ever in my life found myself a creative person until the last year and a half. And the correlation there, sobriety. Not that you can't create while doing drugs and drinking and doing whatever, but I just think to be in tune with the most you.
Getting fucked up in painting was such a ritual for me, and I wrote it off because I was like, I'm inspired right now, and this is a part of my artistic process. Drinking a bottle of wine is part of my practice. Dead ass. That's literally, I just wrote it off to saying that.
So many people operate like that. I know so many folks.
So I'd kill a bottle of wine and just paint for hours.
Yeah. I know tons of folks who are like, I need this to get inspired. I need this to get artistic. I need this to get creative. And I think that that's a very fun story to tell yourself to continue to drink and do stuff. So I would...
Needing the right environment to find and be inspired.
Literally in the creative act way of being is like, you're always... What's going to impede on your creative process is going to be trying to find the perfect environment and trying to be like, these conditions have to be here in order for me to do X, Y, and Z.
It's
Instead,
fake.
you should just create. You're making it up.
You're putting these barriers in your way as like an excuse. And I mean, God, it's easy as hell to make excuses, obviously, you know.
Of course.
But you gotta get over it, man. And I was terrified to paint again when I got sober.
Yeah.
Because that was such a part of my ritual. And for some reason, I thought in my head that I wasn't gonna be able to sit down and paint for hours without
You
getting
talked about it with
fucked
me
up.
all the time. Like, even as, like, you were debating not drinking. I think you, like, kind of thought about being sober curious a little bit and stuff, too. But you're like, but I really like to drink before I paint. And stuff like that. Yeah.
Ew, bro. Like,
So
yeah.
many people think that's a really normalized way to think, though. I like, really do think a lot of people think substances enhance their creative process. And I would challenge you to think otherwise.
It dulled me hardcore.
I mean,
Like,
I could
probably.
not. There's no way I could do any of the stuff I'm doing right now if I was fucked up. There's just no way. I wouldn't have. It just, you can't prioritize, and you honestly can't get inspired in the same ways. Like, I can't think of when I was on my, like, real big drinking, like, 6 months straight outside at the damn black bar down the street. I'm like, I could not think of anything inspiring about that time. There's literally nothing inspiring. I was so fucked up, like, ain't no way.
I feel so like this is such a time in my life where I just want to like create. I feel so excited and passionate to do it. And with painting too, I look at everything and just like weird little old cartoons. I've been looking at so many different artists too and drawing inspiration from them. And I'm just like, yes, I want to like make shit so bad right now. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I'm always like, I want to grab onto and make some things. I think too, when we're talking about sobriety and inspiration, we're talking about like, you are kind of who you hang out with. And so you'll find inspiration from those around you. And so it's important who you surround yourself with if you want to be inspired to create or whatever direction. I feel like creativity is a really broad term to mean anything. So.
Surely, yeah. But people who are doing shit, do like
Yeah, if you want to be doing
shit.
shit, you should probably be around people doing shit.
Hang out with people that are also doing shit that you want to do. Okay. There's this one motherfucker that Megan and I are obsessed with. At least me I am like...
You especially. I really love the concept.
Yes.
This person...
Heavy on concept.
The concept of it all, I love. Yeah.
Heavy on concept.
Heavy on concept.
And so basically this motherfucker has surrounded themselves with weird, most out there freak, weirdo.
Strange individual.
Strange, complimentary, by the way,
as
of
fuck.
course. But weird freako. But has surrounded themselves with everybody who is just like, yup, this is normal.
Yeah.
Like, and everyone is just with it as hell.
This person, this weird motherfucker just does their thing and everyone just supports it. And like,
It's really well done too.
no, it's
so
so
that's
beautifully well done. And
Yeah.
like, it's like a bunch of artists have come together to create something really fun and beautiful and unique. But it's really to let this one guy let his freak flag fly, and the rest of them are like, and we're having fun.
yeah, they're
And
having
it's
fun.
so dank, and it's really inspirational. I think like
And this person is just doing the weirdest shit ever.
and doesn't care, and it's also like
Doesn't
super
give a
in the
fuck.
moment, super present. Like they're always pulling from the room around them, which I think is really inspirational. Like I feel like I forget that like just things around you, like you're saying, just like there's inspiration in the mundane, there's like mystic in the mundane. Like you can just pull from anything. And it's like, that person's not thinking about it being the perfect right environment. They'll literally do that anywhere. We've seen them all over. I've seen them on the street in the trailer of a truck doing their damn thing. So, like, they'll literally, the conditions do not matter. DIY as fuck. Like,
super.
We love a DIY.
Yeah, that's what's inspiring to me too. DIY is inspiring as hell. Like,
hella. Like,
the straight line is godless and immoral. But yeah, just pulling from everybody and how everybody that they've surrounded themselves with is just like, yup.
And is also a sort of like
normal.
Weird creative.
Yeah, everybody that is participating in their project is just like, yep, this is it. Like, super.
Just
and again, being well done, there's something to be said about the project being well done, of course, as well. Of
course. Like, well, also, I think the other thing we were talking about this earlier, too, is, like, you have to kind of work on your craft and stuff in order.
Mm-hmm. Find your people.
Work on your craft, and you can build something beautiful together. Like, and it's in it for the love of it.
Like, that is for the love of the game. Oh, see, that's also the most inspiring thing ever, and you can fucking tell, dude.
When someone's playing just to play.
Someone's playing just to play.
Love playing
and it's
just
like,
to play.
They're like, fuck, I gotta get it out of me. I like that a lot, too. Mm-hmm. When they're like, I gotta get it out, you know? And they just, like, can't fucking help themselves.
When it's, like, primal.
Yeah. It's, like, so, like, instinctual and primal and, like, well-crafted. Ugh, I just love it. So, I feel like I've been finding so much inspiration from that motherfucker lately too.
Yeah, I would say the other day I told you I went and hung out with a person I never met before, and they just were talking about things I'd never heard of, a bunch of things. They were talking about hedgehogs I didn't know any. I had never even seen how tiny one was. They're the size of your hand. In my mind, they were like this big. I was like, that's fascinating. I was learning about DMT. Never learned about that before. That was fascinating. I was just like, they just kept being like, have you heard of this? Have you heard of that? Have you heard of this? And if someone sits and stares at me and is like, have you heard of this? Have you heard of that? Have you heard of this? And plays that back and forth with me all day, I could literally cry. Like, I love to play the game of, like, I want to teach you something, you teach me something, I'll teach you something. Like, that's what we play with music. We play that game all the time. Hey, you heard this song? How about this song? And
heard of this
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, it's like having that curiosity and then, like, looking at somebody else and being like, I bet you'd like this weird BS.
Yeah.
Like, love it. Inspiring. Gorgeous. Mm-hmm. One more thing, too. We touched on this in the last episode, the collective consciousness little area. But, like, yeah, again, I'm gonna say it again. There's little seeds put out by the universe, okay?
You just gotta grab them.
And it's up to you to grab that, whatever the hell you feel inspired by. Because you can feel inspired by everything and everything. Anything, everything, like these two guys.
All about that.
But you just got to do it at the end of the day. It's like that, and that's the hardest part, obviously. It's like you could sit there and, like, dream about stuff all the time, but it's like you got to grab what God has put in your mind, and you got to execute it, dude. Because if not, somebody else is going to do it.
Yeah. I feel like it's really, one of our friends, Steph, was just saying to me the other day, when she came over to do the vision boards, she was like, I always just almost finish things. She's like, so when I was at your house, I kept thinking about, like, oh, I'll glue this down later. When I get home, I'll glue it down. She's like, no, I'm just going to glue it right now. And she just sat there for an extra 5 minutes and glued that shit down. And
I struggle with that too.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, we didn't make our vision board until, like, a week later, I think, or something. But yeah, I think there's power in, like, when you think of doing something, just do it right then and there. Like, don't be like, I'm going to do this then. Like, just do it. And that's inspiring to yourself. Like, when you follow through with things and create things, that's even more inspiring. It becomes,
and it builds, like, trust.
Exactly. And it becomes this cyclical, like, inspiration inside yourself, which then I feel like makes it even more easy to grab the seeds and, like, grab the inspiration from just, like, outside. It's like, I literally am always looking for things that feel like me. I feel like that's another thing too, is I'm always looking for things that, like, I like, or, like, that are cool.
And what rings true to you and inspires you. Yeah.
And, like, if it looks cool or whatever.
You know, another thing that's also, I'd like to, like, touch on, like, what Steph said as well. Carving out the time to do that. Mm-hmm. And have inspiration time. And, I mean, I'm reading a book right now. We could jump into that right now. but it's called The Artist's Way right now.
Oh, yes, you were talking about that.
I haven't gotten that far into it, but it's a lot of like journaling prompts and stuff like that, which is supposed to invoke emotion.
It's so funny because you read these titles that were like so prominent at Barnes and Noble, and we talked about this the other day. You were saying about yourself, and I'm the same way. When everyone likes something, I'm like, ugh, I can't.
I'm too much of a brooding hipster. I'm too much of a 2015 brooding hipster.
I also just worked at a bookstore, so if I didn't work at a bookstore, maybe I wouldn't even think that way. But it was literally like every day. Do you have The Artist's Way? Do you have The Power of Now? Do you have this? And I'd be like,
those are my fucking.
Yeah. So it's just always funny because I'm like, these are books I've always resisted, and they're like your favorite.
Oh, the crack! Books. I'm like, it's like. With a lot of the books, at least, I mean, also maybe if you fucking hate them, then slay, like, whatever. Find what inspires you, man. But these, like, the books that we have laid ahead of us right here changed my fucking life, bro. Dead ass. And, like, I'll pick up any one of these books. If I need a spark of anything, I'll be like, yes.
What were we? I just sent you a TikTok the other that you loved. It was about, giving into creative compulsion.
Oh!
Like, I think, because I'm thinking about the way in which, like, you consume things or, like, grab at things to, like, feel inspired. Like, reading, like, we'll get into all our books and stuff. But there's also, like, watching movies or, like, taking a walk. Or, like, just little things where you can, like, take things in. But, yeah, that girl was talking about how, like, when you have this idea of, like, I get this all the time. Like, when I'm setting up and I'm, like, doing something at my house. Or I'm, like, I really want to watch a documentary that's like visually beautiful in the background, or I want to watch something that's like gonna make me learn something, or I want to watch something like I get creative compulsions all the time of like what I want around me.
Mm-hmm. And who are you to deny them?
I don't. I'm always like, I go into
it.
the search so hard. Like that's what I love Letterboxd for, because I'll be like, I really want this certain like this will be creatively inspiring to put in front of me, or like this feels like it's gonna scratch an itch I have to like consume like this sort of art.
Suppressing that is evil.
Yeah. Like, I feel like if you want to know more about something, or you want to see something or watch something or create something, like, just do it. Like, if you're thinking about it.
It's, again, that I have to get it out of me. It's that primal, like, you have these thoughts for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, you've gotten here for a reason, you know? And so, going against that is...
And people will give into such other weirder urges that, like, aren't as fulfilling. Like, you'll be like, oh, I really need a beer right now, right? Or like, oh, I really need a cigarette right now, or something, where it's like, but you'll resist to be like, I really want to watch this thing right now, or I really want to, like, see this thing, or learn more about this, or take this walk, or whatever sort of creative activity or, like, physical thing you can consume to feel inspired.
Obsessed. I love that, the like creative compulsion thing. When I heard about that, that changed my life for sure. That's gonna be a sad thing about TikTok, to be honest. There's a lot of real cool people on there.
There's video essays all over the freaking internet. It's just not as easy.
I love it. Hey, if there's one thing about me, I love a video essay.
Yeah, it'll just be, you have to be more intentional about finding it without a thing like TikTok. And also, like, the ads on TikTok were getting really
dumb,
dude. And just like every other video,
too much.
It's just, oh my, whatever, it could go. And also, I get a little crazy cuckoo bananas if my algorithm hits me wrong. I'm just like, I'm deep in the cuckoo.
Deep in the cuckoo.
And then, like, sometimes the overconsumption stuff is, like, too much, where it's like, I have 45 perfumes, and I bought everything at Dollar Tree's Valentine's Day release, and, like, all that stuff will pop up.
Get
and I'm like,
the fuck
those things don't even look cool, and this hurts. It feels gross.
Yeah.
But things that inspire us, that we can physically consume, are right in front of us. Why don't you show us some things?
So we all know I'm kind of a hippie, right? So
I had no idea.
Nobody's ever talked to underground book alert. I'm just kidding. Be Here Now is one of the most important things that's ever happened to me in my entire life. This book is fucking so special and inspiring and cool and amazing. I found this book when I was going through a weird, like, old hoarder's barn that was, like, in this, like, weird, like, shack that no one had been in like, 50 years of my friend's old property. I was 16 years old, and I was with two of my friends at the time, and we were just rummaging through all these books, and we found this bullshit, and we were like, oh, what the fuck? We thought that we literally, like, found the secrets to the universe, and low-key we kind of did. Like, I love this goddamn book so much. It talks a lot about creativity and just like weird visual stuff. Oh my god, I am so inspired by this. This was also made by the lot of acid motherfuckers who, you know, drugs, but you know, hey, come on, they had some bright ideas.
Psychedelics, I feel like it's a different conversation.
This is a psychedelic. Yeah, it's a different. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is one of the coolest things on the entire planet. Visually,
what else we got?
Spiritually. Well, how about if we go band for
You
band?
want to go band for band?
Let's go band for band.
I'm like the very different vibes. I'm just gonna go literally off the top.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go through the. I'm sorry, Cheweenies. Let me get a little situated.
Yeah.
Okay, I brought a zine in my fashion. This is really cool. I picked this up at Page Against the Machine right next to the places in Long Beach. And it's written by French students in the 1960s. And it just talks about how the university isn't as like progressive and leftist as it thinks it is, and is really just a place for the capitalist overlords to teach people how to be good workers. And I think it's just as someone who's like a really big academic and really loves the university and stuff, I think like thinking about it, as much as it feel like you feel like you're in a really leftist institution, and then you feel like you're really in a big for-profit institution, and that's just it makes it much more clear about what's really going on when you're able to read students writing about it, and especially thinking about it from the 1960s, because it's only gotten worse in the last 60,
exactly,
70
and that
years.
was an extremely radical time, especially in academics.
Yeah, and it's just always inspiring to see student movements. I feel like they're just so important always. So, inspo.
Love. That's so cute. Again, zines are so cool because they're,
So tiny.
Fuck, I wish I had your zine. Okay.
I know, I almost brought my
zine. Well, I have it, so I have like 50 copies. I think they're all in my car right now to be like, hey.
Yeah.
But right, me holding up Megan's zine. Fucking so inspirational, amazing, gorgeous, love. Right underneath that zine. That was good. Okay, this book, Megan is like, fuck you, shut the fuck up. You were gonna read this one. If you love me,
I'll read your damn books.
Just kidding. That's so scary. Yeah. If you love me, you're gonna read The Power of Now.
I would love to love the things you love, or know the things you love.
This fucking book, dude, changed my actual life too.
What's it tell you all about?
The Power of Now. It's just about being in the present. Like, that sounds super like.
No, that's cool.
And
it's really important.
It's in a question answer format, which I really like also. And this has inspired me to slow down a lot and to not create negative mental loops.
Very dang.
And to watch your thoughts.
Dang.
Heavily. And
Maybe
this,
I do need to read that book.
Oh my God. I've reread this like 4 times.
I think you've
I'm always reading this book.
I was like, I think you've been reading that the whole time I've known you.
Yeah, I'm always reading it. When I first picked this up too, it was kind of the same thing when I first picked this up, where it was like, wow, like there's a God and God is watching out for me because I have this book and like this text. It saved my life and who I am. Not to be like it saved my fucking life, but it's so goddamn good. It's so one day, and you could even read this one. I have it all marked up, all crazy, cuckoo, cool. So goddamn inspiring. It's the guy that wrote it's kind of like but
yeah.
Great words. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm saying, yeah. Hey, sometimes people are correct even if they're not great.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have another zine.
Yeah, baby.
This is the What Happened to the Black Panther Party introduction. We just read this in book club as an in-between. And it's just like a quick synopsis of what the Black Panther Party was all about and what happened to them. And I just find them very inspiring. You can keep this and read this if you like, my friend.
Are you serious?
Of course.
God, you're cool.
But no, it's really cool. And like the Black Panthers is one of those organizations that's always inspiring because they started off just like really serving their community. They start off with like a free breakfast program for kids and then stuff like that where they were really just trying to fill the needs that the government wasn't filling. And so I think, and they're one of those groups that just like started in somebody's living room. And I think that's always inspiring. DIY, baby.
With it. Okay, I'll speed through a little bit too, because I'm sure we've been fucking yap. I don't even like the word yap, but what are we've been yapping for a bit. Ram Dass, bitch. I don't give a fuck. Love Ram Dass. This book fucking rocks. Journey of Awakening. Very inspirational to the burger. I love weird self-help bullshit though, and that like lights such a fire under my ass to be in the present and do things that I want to do and be in alignment with myself. Great book.
There's this weird book I read about, it's called Journey of the Soul, and it's about this guy who did hypnosis and discovered it's all about past lives. It's a PDF online. You can literally Journey of the Soul PDF. It's really interesting. He was doing hypnosis and someone had like a pain in their side or something, and he decided to do like a hypnosis thing, and they did like a past life regression. And like
did the person die from getting stabbed in
a war zone thing, or whatever, and then he just did it with a bunch of people and found that they all had the same things to say even though they didn't know each other, and it's really, I don't contain a lot of grief, but it's like very inspiring for grief, I think. Like when I was reading it, I was like, oh, because it just talks about these like that you're always connected to all the people you've ever known and you always come back to them. Like that's like a common sense that all these people had, was that like when they returned to this like heaven-like space, they didn't call it heaven, but there was all these like orbs of light and they all felt like people they knew. And every time they came back to this afterlife, the same people were there and they would show up in your life in different forms. Like sometimes they'd be your mom. Sometimes they'd just be like a cashier, a barista down the street. Like dependent on the like path you were on life and what you needed to learn from that person and what they needed to learn from you. It's very hippy dippy stuff.
I like that, and that just inspired me a lot right now.
I'm like, I'll send you the PDF.
I'm like, I have some stuff to say about that.
I have some stuff to say
afterwards.
About that. Yeah, but I'm like, that just made me think that the name was just, it was cool. It was nice, and it was comforting to think about. I do
Journey of the Soul is
Journey
really cool. Yeah,
this Destiny of the Souls.
Oh, Destiny of the. Okay,
it does both. There's two.
Oh,
well, yeah, this is Journey of the Awakening, or Journey of Awakening.
Journey of Awakening. Yeah, it's like a meditation book.
Dank.
My
hippie friend.
Come on.
What else we got going over there for you?
Okay, also, bitch, we all know Fruits Magazine. If we're talking about fashion, also art, and I'm a print-loving bitch. I be print clashing like a that is my taste.
You inspired me to do that more. I be hitting the print clashing all the time.
I feel like that is when I feel the best, is when I'm like mixing 580 prints but making it look swag and tasteful.
You're really good at that.
Thanks. Fruits, I have 2 of these. Super fun. You can't recreate any of these looks, but you could draw inspiration from. I mean, you could if you're a fucking freak.
You should probably just draw inspiration from
draw
them
inspiration
to make them yourself. Because those people were absolutely being themselves in these magazines. They're just off the side of the street.
Yeah, off the side of the goddamn road, and like layering and stuff like that. It's just super cool. And again, being able to hold media like this feels really special to me and inspiring to me. And these are some weird fucking
physical
freaks.
media is hella inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm a physical media freak.
I love, and again, too, I feel that I've been seeing a lot of discourse about that as well. How physical media is back, baby, which it kind of has been for a while. Yeah, but, I'm obsessed again.
I got shelves and shelves and zine libraries and zine libraries.
Fuck, again, not to be like, I want to make a zine.
Let's make a zine.
But I mean, fucking, it's
not
like this is a new conversation, but yeah.
We'll schedule it.
We'll schedule
so we stop talking about it and just do it. You'll hear from us soon.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep going? You want to go gat for gat?
Go.
Okay. This is a really funny one. I'll just hit this one really fast. This is a zine by a friend, Avery. Oh, yes. And it inspired me.
All of her shit is so
yeah, she just
cool.
writes super beautifully, and she's made zines forever, and she's awesome. And this is like a really this is like super personal zine that tells like a very, very personal life story. And in it, her and her family are going through things that seem just like impossible to get out of, and like just this is the way life is, and like this will never be different. And like her and her mom were just stuck with her dad, who just was not someone who you could live with. And I was reading it, and there's like a line in here where she was just like, and then one day we left and we realized like the impossible was possible. And like it's much more poetic and beautiful than that in the zine on Avery Island. But I was in a really abusive relationship and felt like I was stuck and couldn't get out. And I was in there for a very, very long time, like 11 years. And I read that line and I literally moved to action to get the fuck out of my relationship. So I'm like, it took a while to get from there. Like, it took a while after I read this, like, probably, like, months or years on it. Or I think a year. I think I had to try to get out of it for, like, a year. But reading those words literally, like, changed my life. I was like...
See, and just that in and of itself, too, is so inspiring. Like, I mean, of course, that's, like, the dopest shit ever. And I've skimmed through, like, some of her work, and I'm like, fuck, yes. But... put stuff out there because it could literally change people's fucking lives. Like,
yeah, like she just did this as like to let it out, like primarily, like to get it on paper, to get all this personal stuff out, because she makes like collective zine with her best friend and stuff that's more like meme and poetry and stuff. And like this is super like her first like super personal one, and it was like I literally changed my life from it. So shout out to Percy zines is what they call them.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm with it.
Yeah.
This isn't that interesting. I'm a journaling bitch.
I wish I would journal. It is inspiring. I have to, like you were saying, carve out time. I'm trying to, because I start a new job in like a month and I have to go to the office and stuff. And so I'm hoping to wake up at 6 a.m. and set a journal meditation time and then leave for work at like 7:30. That's my goal. It would be easier to work from home, you would think, and journal, but...
Well, I'm going to do these two at the same time. So I'm a journaling bitch. I've had journals that I write in since I was like 17. Insane. And I have all of them. And like I can look back on everything I've ever written. And I write down a lot of like I don't write every single day. Right now I'm trying to write every single day because of this book. But I'll talk about that after. But that is so inspiring to me that like keeping a documentation of your life and reflecting back, because I'll journal a lot, especially when I'm in the mud, when I'm in the trenches, and looking back on that, especially where I'm at right now, like I'm like, thank God I fucking wrote all that so I could look back and like have reminders of growth. And also it's really inspirational too, like when I write out all my goals, you know what I mean? And then I'm like, oh fuck, I did all of that.
I told you I found a piece of paper, like I'm really bad at journaling, and my therapist wishes I would journal and I should journal. But I did find a piece of paper that was like, I want to go to grad school. I want to be in a community organization that's worth being in. I want to make a zine that's worth reading, like all these things. And it was like during the pandemic, for sure. It had some sort of language about the pandemic. And I was like, oh, I did all that stuff by now. Like, I did all of those things.
And journaling is such a reminder to keep going.
Yeah.
Which sounds like, so corny, but, like, it does. Like, I feel so inspired every time I look back. And, like, that, too. It's, like, writing down your goals and shit like that and then, like, accomplishing it. It's, like, fuck yeah, bitch. Like, it's inspiration to keep it pushing. That's awesome. And that you can do it. It's awesome. And so that being said, I just started reading The Artist's Way that I mentioned a little bit earlier, and yo ass should get on this. Because one of the most important things about The Artist's Way is this thing called morning pages, where your ass needs to sit down and write 3 pages every fucking morning.
3 pages?
3 pages. 3 pages every morning. And it could be about anything. It could be like, I feel like shit right now. My stomach hurts. Fuck, I don't want to do this. This is what I'm doing today. Like, anything. It's just like releasing. It's like cleansing your mind.
Oh.
You know? So it's like getting out everything. It's brain dumping. Sometimes it could be really fire. Sometimes you're like, what the hell? And they recommend for you to not look back on any of them for like 8 weeks or something. So, and you can't let anybody read it. Mm-hmm. It's a very trust building thing with just you and yourself. 3 pages every morning.
That's crazy.
So that it's been putting a fire under my ass to write more too, which I'm excited about. But another thing that this book talks about is going on artist dates. Okay. And you need to go on an artist date with yourself once a week. And an artist date could look different for everybody. It could be thrifting. Hey. It could be like going to an art gallery. It's just like going for a long walk, things like that, where you're connected with just yourself and you're getting in tune and looking for inspiration and like taking those hours out of your day, out of your week to tune in on that. And setting up the plan, bitch. And so this has been really cool. This format you would really dig.
Okay,
Like,
fine. Well, you can share all your hippy dippy books with me. I could use some inspiration.
Yeah.
Always.
Always. All right. And do you got another one too? I only got one more.
Yeah, I could do these two together because they're
Cool.
similar vibes, and then I'll hit the last two. Let this radicalize you, and we do this till we free us.
Come on.
Both of these are Miriam Kaba books, and she's like the most inspirational person for me. She's a prison abolitionist who's just been doing the work forever. But it's really cool. Let this radicalize you is like a bunch of stories of activists, a lot in Chicago and New York and stuff, like just like literally going out and doing things. There's a story from this book that I tell people, I'm sure you've heard a million times, but I always tell people when I'm talking about like anarchy and abolition and just like the power of community and stuff is there's this story in this book where there's this river and people keep drowning in this river and they keep drowning in this river and no one can solve it, and the city refuses to put up life-saving rafts and stuff because then they're liable for anyone who dies. If they provide life-saving equipment, then they're liable for anyone who dies. So the community is like, fuck that. People start putting up rafts and stuff, and the city keeps taking them down. People keep putting them up, and then eventually someone gets the city on camera throwing the rafts away, and that becomes a huge scandal and is horrible. So the city's forced to provide life-saving rafts, and they end up saving people's lives unless people drown out this river. And it literally just took the people just being like, just gonna keep fucking doing it. I think that's really inspiring, really cool, and also tells a story about the way cities just don't have your fucking best interests at heart. And then we do this till we free us is just all about prison abolition, and it's just Miriam Kaba talking about how like none of us are free until we're all free, and like how to organize for an abolitionist work and how to do transformative justice and stuff like that. So very cool stuff. What's your last one?
Well, folks, let me tell you. I'm like, do we have that picture of this that I sent you? Oh, I have it right here. I'll read a couple. This is the most inspiring book to me right now. Got Yo Ass on It. I feel like we've referenced it a few times in the podcast as well. Again, see, this is another one that was probably at the Barnes and Noble, and a bunch of bitches.
This one, I don't remember as much. I do remember it, but it wasn't as popular with like bros. The other ones were popular with bros, which is like,
okay.
I also worked
as a bro myself, that makes sense.
I worked in Orange County also, so.
Bam. This was a gift by a soulmate, Maddie. Maddie gave this to me and said, bro, you gonna fuck with this. And oh my heavens to Betsy. This is The Creative Act, A Way of Being by our weird freak friend, Rick Rubin.
Oh, they sent me two of them too, so I also gave one to my little boyfriend.
Oh, yeah.
And he has one too.
Well, he needs to crack that shit open.
I know. I read him stuff like we're little babies. Sometimes I read out loud to him, and I read him little things from this book.
That's cute. Mm-hmm. That's cute, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I should do that to my Cheweenies. Oh, yeah. You want to play read to my little boyfriend right now?
Yeah, please read to your little boyfriend.
So the formatting of this rocks.
It's
so hard.
tiny. Everything's like 2 pages. It makes it like you feel really digestible. Accomplished reading it because you're like, damn, I just read 6 chapters and you read 12 pages.
Yeah, and it's organized into areas of thought. Mm-hmm. And so there's 78 areas of thought, and it's really funny because it's like play, the prism of self, let it be, great expectations, expect us. Like it's just funny as fuck. Like I love how it's laid out. And there's this page that when I found this, I was like, this is crack cocaine to a guy like me. It's just like thoughts and habits not conducive to the work.
Yeah, this is what made me buy the book. This is what I read out loud to my boyfriend too, and was just like, because we both get stuck in some of these creative traps. And so I was like, let's expand both our minds by reading this out loud. And I sent it to him.
It's like believing you're not good enough. Feeling you don't have the energy it takes, mistaking adopted rules for absolute truths, not wanting to do the work, laziness, not taking the work to its highest expression, settling, having goals so ambitious that you can't begin, I'm like, should I just fucking read these all
can you
out?
read
Yeah,
them all?
I'm like, there's
listening.
not that many. Yeah.
I'm tapped in.
Thinking you could only do your best work in certain conditions. That's what we were just talking about a second ago. When I read that, I was like, whoa.
That one got my ass too.
Okay, so yeah, like, thinking you could only do your best work in certain conditions, requiring specific tools or equipment needed to do the work. Guilty. Abandoning a project as soon as it gets difficult. We were also talking
Guilty.
about that, where like it's like I'll just fucking do that in 5 minutes, or like
I'm super bad at doing things I'm not immediately good at. So, but you like
being a beginner.
You gotta be a beginner. It's inspiring.
Being a beginner is crazy inspiring.
Yeah.
We've created the environment to become a good beginner.
Yes.
You could do whatever you want. You
can
can
do
begin
whatever
whenever
you
you
want.
want with me. Let's see. Feeling like you need permission to start or move forward. That fucking punched me in the face pretty good. Because I feel like I do need to be like... I'm also a guy that consults my entire PR team before I do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I feel about that. I like it. I'll reflect on that a little more.
Yeah.
Letting a perceived need for funding, equipment, or support get in the way. I like that. Having too many ideas, not knowing where to start, never finishing projects, blaming circumstances or other people for interfering with your process, romanticizing negative behaviors. Berger alcoholism painting vibe. Believing a certain mood or state is necessary to do your best work. Prioritizing other activities and responsibilities over your commitment to making art. Distractibility and procrastination. Impatience. Thinking anything that's out of your control is in your way.
I think that one is really cool because I think
Yeah.
people do really get stuck on like, well, I can't do this because something out of my control is in my way, and it's like you should just do it anyways.
Yeah,
Fuck it,
work
do it
around
anyways.
it.
Yeah, that book is really cool and very
This book
inspiring.
fucking rocks.
Yeah,
And it's funny, I'm only like halfway through it.
I've only read like 6 chapters of it.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this is another book too. With all the books that I really like and like stick to really well, they're not something I just sit down and read.
They're
for
also like
hours.
really visually easy to consume in those ways too, where they're like chopped
Yeah.
up short, and they're like made for that. They're like
Exactly, and
need
like
to be that
it's
shit.
more of like a meditative thing for reading a lot of these
I have some more of my fun books.
fun books.
I'm like, we've got, of course, the classic,
I still have never read
All
that.
About Love.
Can I borrow that?
There you go.
Fuck yeah, cool.
Yeah, All About Love is cool. I think is another one of those books. It talks about how like love and abuse can't coexist, which forced me to have a lot of reflection. I read it like 3 or 4 years ago for the first time. Like,
Oh,
with the
and it's all
PDF.
marked up. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
you can read all
Perfect.
into it. And also it just really thinks like I told you. I have a question I ask myself sometimes when I'm feeling emotionally heightened, where I'm like, am I moving out of love right now? And it stops me all the time. I was gonna have an attitude earlier today because I was hangry because I didn't eat. And I was like, if I say this right now, is that with love? And I was like, no, and I don't need to say it, and I just didn't. So,
I love that.
love is cool.
I love that.
Love. The other book I couldn't find, Organizing Anarchy is really cool. I don't know who I let borrow it, so if you're in here and you have my Organizing Anarchy book, you could comment below. Organizing Anarchy is really cool. It's by a Canadian anarchist, and it's just a bunch of Canadian anarchists doing cool stuff, and it had me discover like the anarchists of Toronto, who do really awesome, cool work and have been doing really awesome, cool work for a long time. And they have a lot of really cool zines, and they like wrote like the 10 principles of anarchy and like a bunch of cool stuff.
Oh, very cool.
Very cool
Nice.
stuff. So that book is really cool and inspiring. Don't know where it is. But I just read this, which came out this year. Not this year. It came out 2024. It's 2025 now. Came out 2024. We read it in book club. It's massive, so I never finished it. I jumped around a little bit because all the chapters stand alone. But this is Constellations of Care, an anarcha-feminist anthology. And it's one anarcha-feminist who goes around and talks to a bunch of collectives all around the world about, like, just how did they get started and what did they do. So there's things like there's a free library. which literally inspired the free library my book club hosts at Good Time Coffee here in Long Beach, because these people literally just had a place to put a free library up, and they just maintain it. They just show up and they keep it clean, and they could just do it. And we were like, that's something we could do. So we just started doing it.
That's so cute.
Yeah. And then there's like cool things, like there's like this lady who started a bike club with her daughter, and then they found a bunch of other women that wanted to ride bikes, and they became this big group, and they named it like Ovary something. And then as more people joined, they were like, that's kind of not a good name. And they were like, oh, you're right. And then they changed the name. And it's all these stories of people who were like, not only started something, but went through the like growing pains and the hurt that it's like causes, and like how hard it is to organize with people and the struggles and stuff. And there's one thing in here that like I resonated with, and my book club did too, of like, we're not a safe space. And that safe spaces are actually inherently harmful, because people come in with their guard down, and people are always going to harm people. And so that was a really cool, inspiring thing to be like, oh, we are thinking about this correctly. Because that's how we felt at book club. We're like, we're not a safe space. Like, we're going to hurt people. And like,
I'm going to smoke weed in your face.
And people are smoking cigs, and like people are going to say things because like everyone's new on their political radicalization journey. But if everyone is here with the same intent, like, and we're all here to learn, and we all
move
agree
forward,
to be here,
yeah,
then we can learn and have those uncomfortable moments together. And I think that's one thing about like leftist organizing, is just like everyone wants everyone to be the perfect leftist, and you're never going to be that. You're always learning and growing and becoming a better version of yourself, and a better citizen, and a better political participant in this world, and a better steward to the earth, and like whatever else. And so if you acknowledge that some of those moments will be uncomfortable, and that you have to help people get there sometimes, then you won't push people out who, because there's theories about like people who went super right wing is like sometimes they just needed support, and the left was super like, you don't get
closed it out. Yeah,
and then they
that's when
to
you
where
get so far left, you get right, for sure.
Seen
so that.
It was really cool to read it, just like about real life people just solving real life, like that's kind of what it's all about. It's just like real life people solving real life gaps in their community. That's what most of these are about, I guess. It's real life people solving real life gaps in their day-to-day community, and like creating a better world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
And that's inspiring.
And that is on inspiring, everybody.
Do you have any last minute inspirational reflections before we close out our inspiration episode of the Amanda Berger
Book
School of
Club,
Awesome?
book inspiration.
You just gained a bunch of knowledge over there.
I know. I'm
gonna
so
write
excited.
these down.
Thank
I'm
you
just
so
kidding.
much.
You'll
Yeah.
remember what you took of mine.
I mean, I'll keep it right there for when you come over. Inspiration is all around. Take inspiration from everything.
Literally be inspired by everything.
Everything is a mirror. Everything is also very purposeful.
Grab the seeds. Grab the
seeds. If you're thinking about something, and if you want to do something, you have that for a reason.
Indulge in your creative compulsions.
Indulge in your creative compulsions. And inspire others, and because you never know who's going to pick it up and feel inspired from that, and could maybe change the world themselves.
If you want to make something, someone probably wants to see it.
There's definitely people that want to see it. I want to see it.
I want to see it.
I'll fucking go to your art show.
Yeah. Also, on that note, this is one of our creative projects, this podcast. And you should like, comment, and subscribe.
Oh! Yeah, totally. Fucking smash that motherfucking like if you got all the way here. It really helps us out, folks. Smash that fucking like.
We love the comments.
We get some funny comments that I enjoy.
If you don't know us, you should definitely comment.
Yeah, be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, say some. Yeah.
Were you inspired by this episode?
Were you inspired? Talk shit. Leave a hate comment. You could say that you like
I'm
my
always
Furby slippers.
inspired by negativity as well, so feel free.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Yeah, say hi.
Yeah.
Also, as far as mutual aid resources.
Oh, yeah. If you are interested in LA Fire Aid resources, LA-based, Long Beach-based, you can find me on Instagram and DM me and ask me about it, and I can connect you if you want to volunteer. If you have
are very
donations.
tapped inwardly hardcore.
Super tapped in.
Yeah.
And also, like, this is a long-term thing. Like, people are going to need help forever. So if you're not ready right now to volunteer or do stuff, but you want to eventually, I'm sure the next 3 to 6 months to a year will be a lot of rebuilding and organizing work. So my Instagram is DJ smoking a joint.
I'll put it right here on the screen too.
Because we can't link things, I would just link you.
Yeah, sorry. We're still not on Spotify. Also, still not. I can't put links in the description. I'm a hillbilly. I'll figure it out. Yeah.
Somewhere, someday. But I have
DIY, folks. Okay. Yeah. So.
I have the sheet of sheets to all resources in LA. So if you hit my line on Instagram, I will get you the sheet of sheets, and you can get tapped in to whatever you might want to be involved in.
Also, I really like what you said last night about Long Beach being like a very special place, especially for all of this, because like Orange County is supposed to be getting a lot of fires and stuff eventually as well. And like Long Beach is a very like, we're kind of safe over here in this little hub. Fucking hopefully, come on. But like, you know what I mean?
For this this particular climate disaster of fires,
yeah.
Long Beach is particularly isolated between LA and Orange County, who are always on fire in the summer.
Yeah.
Just this is very scary because LA is on fire in the winter, which means Orange County is going to be on fire in a few months. And so Long Beach is the place that will have extra resources and will probably have climate refugees is basically what it is. So I'm just part of a network of people that really care about making sure the people of Long Beach, number one, are taken care of, but that people who end up displaced here also have the resources they need. So if you're interested in being part of that or just want to learn more about it, you can hit me up on Instagram and DJ Smoking a Joint, and I will give you information or point you in directions to help people or just tell you more things if you have questions. I just know things.
My friend does know things.
I just know things.
You know a lot of things. These two know things. I hope my Furby slippers weren't hiding the sleeping Cheweenies.
I don't think so. They look adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, get inspired by everything. We hope this was inspiring.
Yeah. Tell us what inspires you.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Happy Amanda Berger School of Awesome Tuesday night. Or, yeah, bye.
Whatever night it is now.
Yeah, whatever fucking night it is now. Bye.
And we're done.